What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an amazing day today and I hope it gets even better from watching this video. Today I'm finally sharing with you guys my system, my favorite system for planning and organizing my whole life so I can stay productive and on top of my habits and goals so that I can actually have the best year yet, instead of just making a list of goals and habits and how I'm gonna change my life this year and then I forget about it in 3 weeks. You know, I definitely used to do that back in the day and I did not make a lot of my goals happen because it wasn't a system at all. It didn't exist. So I kind of perfected this system over the last 3 years when I started using Notion. So I am gonna be sharing the template with you guys today. I know I promised this to you guys back in December. It's taken a little bit of time, but I just wanted to make it as perfect as humanly possible so you can rely on this system and use it every single day. As I mentioned, the system is on Notion. It includes goal setting, goal tracking, habit tracking, monthly, weekly, daily planning. There's also a monthly reset routine in there because that's a huge part of my personal system. And then there's some other bits and bobs like a morning routine, a wish list, things like that. We'll go through everything. You can basically use this template from scratch. So if you haven't planned your year out at all or haven't set any goals or habits or anything, you can do that in this template. If you have done that already, the system can just kind of help you refine it. But the biggest part of this template is actually just the day-to-day planning and tracking to keep your goals and your habits in mind. This system really allows you to look at your goals very clearly and see them every day and then plan them into your life to actually make things happen. You know, I've also included like an extensive tutorial in this template. So in case you've never used Notion before and you're just feeling really lost, it guides you through everything so you can get the most out of the template. But yeah, I'll link it down below. I also decided to do a little 25% off discount for the first week. So I will have all the information about that below. Before we jump into the system, I want to tell you guys all about Skillshare because they're actually sponsoring this video, which is so fitting because I actually used Skillshare to make this template. I wanted to learn more about like the advanced features of Notion that I didn't really know about before, and it was super helpful. So if you don't know, Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. They have thousands of classes led by industry professionals across design, productivity, freelance, illustration, and even film. I feel like this time of year is perfect to invest in yourself, invest in your goals, learn a new skill, and like take your career or side hustle to the next level, and Skillshare can really help you with that. If you're not sure where to start, Skillshare actually designed learning paths to make things easier. So learning paths are basically hand-picked classes meant to be taken in order, and they kind of build on one another. They're available in a range of experience levels, so from beginner to advanced, and they have so many different categories from productivity, marketing, creative freelancing, design, to tools and software like Procreate and Blender. So there's something out there for everyone. The learning path that I'm currently watching is the organization and planning for creative freelancers. So I have the link to Skillshare down below, and the first 500 people who use my link will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Alrighty, without further ado, let's get into the system. Okay, so this is the template. This is the empty one, by the way, just so you can kind of get a glimpse of what it looks like empty, but this is mine. So as you can tell, I put my vision board as a banner just so I can see it every single day. And this page is kind of becoming like my home page or like my dashboard on Notion. So I really see this every single day, which is so good, especially if you're into like manifesting and all of that. It's just good to be reminded of your goals visually as well. And then I wrote my theme of the year. You can also do word of the year. Mine is fulfilled success. And then I wrote a little description of what that means to me. Then we've got pages of every single month individually, and they're kind of organized in quarters. So this is obviously quarter 1, quarter 2, blah, blah, blah. I'll show you guys this part a bit later. And then this right here just kind of shows you where we are in the year, which I thought was just a cute like visual representation. And then I've got my routines. I only have my morning routine in here. And then this is the actual goal planning, setting, tracking system, which I'll also walk you through. And then I've got my habit tracker here, a little quote that I really like, my wish list of the year, and then little affirmations or like identity shifts that will help me to make my goals happen. So that's just a quick overview. Okay, let's dive into the goal setting, tracking, planning system. So as I said, this is how it looks like. I use a 3x3 goal setting system. I don't know if I made that up or if I heard it somewhere, honestly, no clue. But basically what it means is I work in 3 categories. So this year I have personal, career, and financial. And then I can set up to 3 goals for each category. So altogether I would have 9 goals at the most. I have 8 this year. I actually use the Wheel of Life to determine like which categories of my life I want to focus on in the specific year. I've shared this system like extensively in my goal setting video, but very quickly, I basically mark where I feel like I am, like my satisfaction levels, and then where I want to be at the end of 2024. And then the categories with the biggest gap are the ones that I really want to work on. So these were the categories for me. I just looped these 3 together because they were very connected. So that is my personal category. I actually linked all of this at the bottom of the template. So you can find the goal setting video here. And then the Wheel of Life as well is linked. So it's very easy to find. Okay, let's actually dive into the Notion system now. So as you can see, I've got 3 categories. So personal, career, financial. So when you open it up, this is how it looks like. So on the top, I can mark if it's been completed, and then I have the deadline. So I decided to do it by quarters, and there are a few goals that I have to work on throughout the whole year. So this is one of those. And then I can filter them here at the top. So I can filter them through the deadline. So let's say Q1, and you can only see 1. And then I can also filter them through whether they've been completed or not, which is really helpful. So that's the basics of it. But then obviously, if you want to actually make your goals happen, it's so important to be very, very clear on what you want, why you want them. So like the goal setting system needs to be really good. And then you need to break them down into smaller steps. So that is what you do right here. So you can do this for each individual goal. So you have the goal setting page. This is how the empty one looks like. And you basically write down what the SMART goal is. I like to use the SMART system when I'm setting goals just to make sure that they are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, just so they're very clear. And you can see the steps of that right here. So for this goal, for example, what I wrote was like learn basic Danish. That is obviously not very specific. So this is where I made it very specific. So I want to learn 30 common phrases that I can use, learn 100 words, take 1 Danish lesson per week, and then do at least 5 minutes of Duolingo a day. So now that goal is very, very clear and specific, and I can track it very well. And then I also wrote my starting point, just so when I look back at the end of the year, I can see how far I've gotten. So for me, it's like I know a few words, like a few phrases, but I cannot have a conversation. I can't really understand anything. So we're kind of starting almost at a 0. And then you write your identity shift. So I talked about this in I think it was my discipline video. So if you want to learn more about that, you can watch that there. I also, by the way, have a whole playlist of all the videos that I've made to help you to kind of get ready for the year. So I'll have that down below as well. But anyway, if I'm trying to learn Danish and I keep telling myself like I'm so bad at learning languages, I suck at this, I will never learn this, it's obviously going to be really hard to get to that goal. And it's also not going to be very enjoyable. So my identity shift is I am really good at learning languages. And that to me is like believable. I can get there, you know? So make sure that it's realistic and believable to you. Every time I wrote an identity shift for each goal, I also wrote it down here. So I have just like a cute little reminder, and I can read this every day and just make sure I'm really programming it into my mind. So now we're very clear about the goal, and then down here are journaling prompts, which will help you to get really clear on your why and that emotional reason for why you want to achieve this goal. That will really help you to keep going and to have that motivation and the drive to want to do it, because if it's not meaningful and important to you, you're not going to want to do a lot of like hard work to get there, you know? So here you just get really clear on that. And then if we go back, this is the progress tracker. So what I did is I broke down this goal into smaller steps that I can then put into my daily plan, my monthly plan, weekly plan, whatever, into my schedule basically, so I can start ticking them off and really make sure that I'm working towards these goals. So this is where each step is written down, and then on the left is a checklist, so you obviously check it off, and then at the bottom it shows you the percentage of how many you've checked, just so you kind of get a sense of where you're at. And then you can mark it either as a task or a habit. So obviously doing a weekly Danish lesson is a habit. Doing Duolingo every day is a habit. You get it? And then you can write the month of where you want to achieve this. Obviously, if it's a habit, it's going to be something you do every day. So there's also a yearly option. And then you can write the deadline and then also the status. So you can mark either not started, in progress, or done. It's automated, so it brings the ones you've crossed off to the bottom, but you can also filter this really well. So you can filter it through months, through whether you've completed them, through whether it's a task or a habit, or through the status. So that will come in handy when we're actually planning the days, weeks, and months, which I'll show you. And then at the bottom, there's just a section for notes and reminders. So that is the goal setting and tracking system. I've done this for every single individual goal. And then I created a habit tracker. So when you're planning out your goals and breaking them down, you'll probably realize that there are some habits that you need to adapt, or maybe you already just know that based on what kind of lifestyle you want to have. And so I created a tracker right here. And so for me, that's a morning routine, a Danish Duolingo, and then I want to do Pilates twice a week. I want to go on a run at least once a week. And then I also want to budget. And of course, you can also filter this. So right now, the way it's set up is that it only shows you the current day. Otherwise, it can be really long. But when you're doing like a monthly reset or just checking in on how you've been doing this week, you can set it to where it shows you the whole week or the whole month. I really hope this is not confusing or overwhelming. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, but this template actually is very simple and easy to use and very like minimal, because I don't really like clutter. If I don't need something, I don't want it to be there. I just want to have systems that really work and that are easy. I promise it's not complicated. Anyway, let's go into the monthly page. So let's open up January, and then you'll see the goal system and the habit tracker right here. This is a linked database. So that means if I make a change here, I'll just write something, it will automatically be made anywhere where this goal tracker is. So that means it will be updated here and in every single monthly page. Same with the tracker. Like when I make this specific change, it's already reflected everywhere where there's a habit tracker. So yeah, that's the goals and the habits. And then we'll go over this thing on the left in a second. But down here is your weekly agenda / your daily to-dos. So this is my current week. So it's just a very simple to-do list. There's also a little calendar on the side so you can know where we are. There's a little line in between, so whenever I'm done with the habit, I just bring it down. And I also have some color coordination, very simple, but I basically mark any kind of appointments, meetings, anything like that in orange. And then birthdays are in green, and then anytime I need to post something at a specific time, it's in blue. So that just kind of makes it really easy for me to see so that I don't miss anything. So yeah, that's how I like to do it. If you want to structure it in like the level of priority, you can also use this divider for that. So on the top would be your priority to-dos for the day, and then on the bottom, all the rest. So it's up to you how you want to use this. But basically, once the week is done, you can just drag it into this archive folder. So this is not cluttered, and then you just click new week, you write the number of the week, and you'll have a fresh little empty weekly agenda. And the cool thing of archiving it is that they'll all be in order, and you can just go back and look at all your weeks if you want to find a to-do or something. Up to you. The only thing I use outside of Notion when it comes to planning, scheduling, organizing is Google Calendar, just because Notion doesn't really have the best calendar in my personal opinion, and I like how everything in my calendar is linked. So if there's any online meeting, I already have the link in there, and Notion, from my knowledge, doesn't really have that, or at least it's not that good. I just have it linked so it's easy access. Okay, let's pretend I'm planning the week 2 of January so I can show you how the system actually works when you're planning and organizing your tasks. So let's open the weekly goal breakdown, week 2, and then what I like to do, you can obviously make this your own and do whatever works for you. But I open each goal, so I'll show you the Learn Basic Danish one as an example. I'm just gonna filter this through the month. So obviously I'm planning January, so I'll filter that. And then I also just wanna see the uncompleted ones, so the ones I haven't checked off, because obviously already done those. And now I can see all these tasks. And obviously January 20th is, I believe, the 3rd week of January, so I'll ignore that. And then I want to place these 3 tasks into my weekly plan. So what I like to do is I just like to copy it and paste it in here. And I do this with every goal. You can also copy a few at once. I think you just click command, so you can also do that if you have a lot of them. So then what I do is I just drag the task down into the day when I want to complete it. I would obviously do this for every single goal, the same process, and that is just a very simple way to plan with your goals in mind so you actually make them happen. And then reminders are very self-explanatory. When I think of a to-do that I need to do that's not related to my goals, I just write it in here, and then the same thing, I can just drag them down into my days when I plan them. And so that is how that system works. I honestly love it so much. It's so simple, and I love that your goals are really an integral part of it. Because again, we want to avoid like just writing goals down and nothing happens, because I forget about them if I'm not doing this. So that is basically like the complicated part of this template. The rest is more little fun bits and bobs that I'll show you now. So underneath every single monthly page, there's a monthly reset. I actually want to do a monthly reset video where I show you guys my reset in action. So let me know if you want to see that. But I really think a monthly reset is so important. I wasn't initially going to put this in here, but it's such a good way to kind of see where you are, what worked, what didn't work, and how you're going to move forward with new information that you now have. So this is the time where you reflect and then plan for a new month. So at the top, we've got a checklist of my personal monthly reset routine. This is included in your template, but obviously you can go in and change these steps to make it your own. So one of the tasks is to review my habit tracker so I can see how I've been doing and how I can improve. So that would be a great time to utilize the filter. So obviously I explained that I have it set up so it just shows me the day, but this is where you can then click on the week, so it shows you the whole week and you can review it very easily. And then the gallery is a really, really cool part. So I wanted something where you can see your month at a glance. So you can just look at this and you already kind of know what this month was about. So what you can do is when you open this page, you can put in like what happened. So let's imagine I went on a New York trip. I can put in a date of roughly when this was, and then I can mark whether it was a highlight, a trip, something lifestyle related, and then you can paste the photos. So the first one that you paste is the one that then shows up here, and then you can just add more. And it's just so cool. I'm so excited to like actually use this. And then on the bottom is some journaling prompts. So what you enjoyed, what you learned, what you might have needed to better support yourself and enjoy the month more. How did you grow? And then how can you be more of your favorite self next month? So that is the monthly reset routine and the whole monthly page. Obviously, it's the same for every single month. And then I want to show you the morning routine. You also get this in the template. So again, it's my morning routine and you can just edit it to make it your own, or add different routines, delete this one, whatever you want to do. But this is my morning routine. So I have it written down here, and then I have some photos of just the vibe. And then at the top, I just have the tracker, and this is basically the same system as the habit tracker. So you obviously have the date and then each individual step, and you can just cross it off. And then you can also filter through it the same way. Underneath my goals, I also have my wish list, which is very self-explanatory. It's basically just things I want to do, little wishes I have that are not really goals. Like I don't want to plan them out. I don't want to do all that and track them. It's just like little trips or concerts. I want to see the Northern Lights, for example. I want to read ACOTAR, like just things that I would like. So I just wrote it as like a checklist and then I can just check it off. I also just pasted my Wheel of Life at the bottom, just because it's nice to see where I started and you can really see your progress. And this will be really useful to see when I'm reviewing my 2024 at the end of the year. Alrighty guys, that is it. That is the system, the template. I really hope this was helpful. I hope I explained it well and you're not feeling overwhelmed or heavily confused. I promise it's actually very simple. As I've already said, I'll have the link to the template down below as well as the discount code so you can get it for 25% off for the first week. And you can put in all your information and start using it. I honestly am so excited for this. I'll also have my 2024 playlist down below if you need some inspiration for the new year vibes, as well as my social media. I would love for you to subscribe and stick around for the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye!